Thing that I learned to embrace very quickly, and I've learned to share and use it to help others.
So how old were you then when you sort of... Because I felt I was like in my 20s, mid to late 20s, when I really got a handle on it. I realised what a powerful gift I had.
Yeah.
And I was able to use it. And people didn't... That was the other thing. People didn't realise how powerful the gift was. They just used to think, oh, yeah, you probably see a few ghosts now and again. You'll be all right. But when they realised how accurate I could be, that's when people started to think, ooh.
Yeah.
So how old were you?
I would have been just before 10, so quite young.
Yeah.
And it all started happening after, as I said, I lost my brother. And I've learned to use it to my advantage ever since in helping others.
Oh, wow, Claudia.
And we'll be back after a little bit of music.
Our second segment is called Spirits Listening to Spirits, and this is where we answer your questions that you've either mailed to us or you've put it on our Facebook page. So if you'd like to leave a message for us, we will endeavour to answer your questions. And luckily we have a question today, which is from Carla in Mount Eliza, and she's asking, how do we know when angels are around us? So just to start with that, angels are here to protect us. And they don't want to control your life, but they will come into your life if they feel that you need some form of direction or a warning. And some of the most recent stories that you might have seen on social media is Bill Benton's story, where he talks about he was driving somewhere and he heard a voice that shouted, "Stop, stop," and he actually stopped the car. And that actually prevented him from having a fatal car accident.
Wow.
I'm not sure he relates it really to the angels, but it's definitely part of his intuition. But I do believe it is the angels that come and warn you or they give you messages.
Yeah.
I have at times, when I've been meditating, felt the comfort of the angels around me, almost like an angel wing.
Yeah.
And they often say, like when we were kids, it's the birds were the angels. They're the ones that could speak. And if you can understand the birds, they're the ones that'll be able to tell you what goes on. And then that's where the white feather and so on comes in. And for me, if you felt that comfort of the wings and the feathers, there was a genuine love that comes through for that. And obviously you've got the the archangels that you talk about, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel. And they have different roles in the spiritual world. Some of them, again, are for protection, others are for healing. And angels also send all sorts of signs. I don't know whether you've actually seen it. You might see 111, you might see 333,
Yep.
555.
That's where the numbers come in.
Yes. And they often sort of send something. I mean, it's not just coincidental that you might be driving along and listening to a song and suddenly some words pop out at you, or you see a film, or you might be looking for a birthday card and you open the card and there's a message in it and it really resonates with you. That is the angel speaking to you.
Yep.
So I believe that they are around there somewhere, lurking,
Absolutely.
looking for you.
Absolutely. No, they're definitely there, and they let us know when they're around, don't they?
They do. And, there are people that can be described as earth angels. And I'll give you a quick example before I ask Claudia to interject with some of her experiences. But I was actually on the beach in Seaford walking the dogs and not feeling very happy. I was having a lot of trouble at work. I was feeling really quite depressed and not having much sense of direction. And it wasn't a very good time for me, which I can imagine, thousands of people all over the world can resonate with that as well. You go for a walk, you clear your head, and there was nobody on the beach. And then suddenly this guy turned up and he said, "It's all about the truth." And I said, "I beg your pardon?" He said, "It's all about the truth. It's all about integrity. It's all about how we treat each other. And it's all about the heart-centered feeling for people, humanity, work, whatever environment you're in, if you can start with integrity, that is the basis for everything, including love. And I thought, God, how profound.
Words you needed to hear.
Yeah, and it linked with everything I was going through at work. It was a pretty awful time, and it was all about integrity. Yeah. People weren't telling the truth. There were difficult situations that were coming up that I just couldn't get to the bottom of because no one would be honest with me. Yeah. And we stayed on the beach for about an hour talking about what I wanted to do. And I told him that I wanted to get, had an idea for a business together, and that I was a medium, and I wanted to do other aspects like hypnotherapy and meditation. And he said, yeah, I think that's a really great idea, but if you're going to do it, explain to people what it's about, because if you're looking at a website, you get 100 clicks. As soon as they don't understand what you're talking about, 30% of those clicks have gone. By the time they read your material, you're looking at 30. And I thought, God, he's really good. He left me a phone number, and then he just disappeared. Wow. I tried ringing that number, nothing. And I'm sure that was an earth angel. When I shared it with somebody else who was of the same spiritual opinion, they said, have you ever heard of an earth angel? And I said, no. And that was it. Yeah.
There's a very well-known YouTube video of, I don't know whether you've seen it, a truck driving along, bicycle comes out, and he instantly is a flash of light, and the cyclist is instantly on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And there's someone with him who walks away. And the truck would have literally gone straight through him.
Wow.
And the numbers on the video, the clock, stay the same. Oh, not the same, but they click through.
Wow.
Is that sort of thing, is that Earth Angel?
Yeah, I think it is. I think
absolutely.
There are people who are able to see the Earth Angel, but as we talked about earlier, where you said that you get your inbuilt feeling, Claudia, and a sense of something. There are other people on this planet who they might hear something, they might feel it, or they actually smell, danger or death or things like that. Yeah. It's all connected to the spiritual realm. And in answering that question, yes, I do believe that is an earth angel. They're sent here to help other people.
Yeah, and just to protect us. And I do believe that the only way I can sort of describe to anyone who would ask this question is think of moments through your life when you've had a profound connection with a stranger that has just said a few words to you, and then they've just walked off, and you think, I needed to hear that. That is an angel that has just come. They've acknowledged, your spirit has acknowledged that you need help, but you're not quite too sure what the answer is. So the angels can actually act through someone in the physical. Someone in the physical might think, why did I say that? They can come and they can deliver that message to you because you just happen to be in the same place. Yeah. And then they just disappear.
That makes you a Muppet.
Well, okay.
Or maybe without the balcony.
That's it.
But it's an interesting idea that the spirit uses your physicality to effectively appear, for want of a better description, in the three-dimensional world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember probably one of the many connections that I've had was when my marriage was coming to an end many years ago, and I was in a desperately sad situation to the point where I was kind of losing sense of time, and because it was all falling apart. I mean, there's many people out there that have probably had similar experiences, but this particular day, I hadn't slept for days. I was so deeply depressed. Walking through the supermarket, and I distinctly remember walking up to the cashier and looking up, and I had a trolley full of groceries, and I saw this little man shuffling up and down, he just had a little box of grass seeds, and I just thought, and he was looking for, obviously, the express counter or whatever, so I caught his attention and flagged him over. I thought, I'll just let him go in front of me. So he came, and I said, you can go in front of me, you've only got the one item. So he stood there, and he kept looking, and he was smiling at me, and I just thought, I wasn't in the mood for connecting with anyone. I just thought, I just wanted to get on my way. And he came up to me and he said, "You know, in my life I've been married 3 times." And I looked at him and went, "Oh, okay."
No sort of thing they come and say to you.
That's exactly. Just something completely random. I went,
Yeah.
"Okay." And he goes, my first marriage was terrible. We stayed together because we thought we had to, but in the end it didn't work. Got divorced. The second wife came along, kind of a rebound thing. We were only together not even a year. That didn't work. And he said, and I was very sad, and I spent some time alone for a while. And he said, and then I met the most beautiful woman in the world. And he said, and we've been together almost 30 years. And he looked at me and he said, "Don't worry. It's all going to be okay." And he just walked off. He paid for his grass seat and he walked off. And I watched him shuffle away. This sweet little old man. And the cashier looked at me, and I looked at her, she had tears in her eyes. And she went, "You were meant to hear that." She said, "I don't know what's happening in your life, but you were meant to hear." She said, "He's an angel." And I went, "I think he is an angel."
Maybe you had a T-shirt on that said, "I'm sad and lonely.
Maybe I
Please
did.
talk to me."
But many, many times. And they do come in with messages. They will actually come in, the story you just told, they will physically intervene at times, and they feel they need to as well to keep you safe because it's not your time yet.
Yeah.
So we all have a time,
Yes.
Yes.
We
Okay.
do.
which
Yeah.
is one of the points that no doubt will come up for discussion.
Yes, it will. Yeah.
And see, and even doing astrology, this is where astrology comes in, because there are certain points in our lives where we can check out.
Yeah.
I think that's the interesting thing between the two of your two different skills. One being astrology has an academic mathematical component.
There's a tangibleness to it, yeah.
And the other one is entirely based on the senses.
Yeah.
And the combination of your two stories covers an aspect, I think, that applies to all of humanity, and it's the question of the existence of God, deity, presence,
Yeah.
of something other than the human being.
Yeah.
I want to come back to this question about angels because it applies to both of you. Is an angel? We use this idea of wings.
Yeah.
Why? Is it because of flight,
Yeah, I think.
or because that's indeed what they
It's
appear
a bit
to
of
you
a
as?
biblical thing as well.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both, isn't it, Claudia? There's
yeah.
there's a mythical connection to it.
Yeah.
Birds have different meanings in different cultures. The eagle, in particular, is a very spiritual bird.
Yeah.
In Cornwall, crows.
Mm-hmm.
If you as far as the crow flies, in the direction of where the crow flies, it's there's a an answer in something in there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And they have huge intelligence. They use tools.
They are very
Yeah.
clever, and they are extremely psychic animals, birds.
Aren't they seen, though, as on the evil side of, or the bad side?
Yeah, I think there is that connection because crows are black, and that has something to do with the popular versions of Dracula and any of the cartoons
Yeah,
always have
popular
black
culture,
birds.
yeah.
But in actual fact, the crows appear on the emblem for Cornwall because it's very much part of the land, but also, they don't believe they're part of bad luck.
There isn't a bird in astrology, though.
As in the signs? Well, we've got...
I don't know, your archetypal, we were talking about Carl
Yeah.
Jung not that long ago, and
Yeah.
he had archetypal images.
Yeah.
And I think the bird comes into there somewhere because birds also represent freedom.
But you would expect in the 12 signs,
Yeah,
because the power of and the emblem of the bird is so profound,
yeah, good
that
point.
they would have found a bird to be part
And
of
it'd
that.
be part of one of the air signs too, you would think, yeah. Yeah. That's
But
a good
essentially,
question.
I think anybody who's listening to this podcast should we would like you to understand that even if you live alone and, whatever crisis that you're going through at the moment, there are spiritual beings, angels that you can call on so that you're not alone. You know,
Yeah.
if you speak loud enough and wish loud